Hello my friends and family. I hope this video is reaching you in good health, wealth, and spiritual wellness. And I just want to say that, you know, life has been calling me to do these, to reach out to people. And so if you're watching this video, it's actually God's purpose for me to be speaking to you. And God is actually doing some great things in the world today. Even though there's a lot of negativity, there's a lot of things happening that might not look so well. But I want you to not concentrate on that, because there's also a lot of spiritual development, spiritual growth, personal development, and acts of kindness that a lot of the news and other people don't really pay attention to. And it's not, I mean, it's good to just, you know, watch some funny videos, but it's like the universe is calling for us to develop our personal self, develop our personal growth, and so we can have better relationships with each other, so we can understand some of these systems that we created that actually hinder us more than help us. And it's like when you make too many rules or certain restrictions and you don't completely see the full effect, it can have negative repercussions more than the positive of what you're trying to do. So you really gotta delve deep, and you really gotta look outside the box, and you really gotta not be so harsh. Because I mean, yes, everybody makes mistakes, but when you just concentrate on the mistake and you're punishing people and you're, you know, belittling people and saying, "Oh, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. You need to do this and that or whatever," it's good to encourage and to suggest. Because when you just try and control people, when you just try and tell them what they should do, they're more likely not to hear you, because then they feel like their ego or themselves is like it's got some faults that you do not like, and so that like they are not a part of this universe and they are not a part of you, when we're actually very much alike. And if people would learn to delve deep and really find their who they truly are, how to really love, how to really analyze some of the things that they go through, and to really understand some of the deeper meanings into certain situations or certain emotions or certain ways that they might react in a negative way. It's really like when you're angry. It's really not that you're angry, it's really that you're feeling hurt. So your body goes into a defense mechanism and it tends to defend itself, and so the best way is anger, or you know, some kind of movement, some kind of radical movement, whether that's just to get out of there or that's to argue and fight back and try and, you know, relinquish their themselves, when it's actually, you know, we need to learn to connect to each other. And we got to understand that you make mistakes, I make mistakes, everybody makes mistakes. So it's good not to be so judging on people when they make mistakes, because that's how they tend to just continue to make mistakes. When you're always pointing out people's flaws, you don't give people words of encouragement as well as some suggestions to their self-development and some things that they can do, well then you're just belittling them. You're like, you're creating more of a negative effect when you're kind of pointing out people's flaws, because you're basically being judgmental, and judging people is not, it's not the best way to resolve an issue or to help someone. And like the law is very judgmental, and the law needs to start looking at some different ways of handling some of the things that they want, because you can't just force people to abide by certain laws when sometimes people's lives aren't exactly like theirs, and so they find other ways of having to deal and survive. And so it's actually, they're not really like looking at it from a perspective of the other person, and so that's very limiting. It's gonna really not see the whole picture. And so the way that we can fix that is by learning to come together and not judging each other, but coming as a person of compassion, a person of wanting to help. And that's by encouraging people, because everybody makes mistakes. Doesn't mean they're all bad. I mean, if somebody always pointed out your flaws, I mean, you'd look just as bad as the next guy. So thing is not to concentrate on people's flaws, or not to really put your attention too much on negativity or even judgmental thoughts, little pet peeves that you might have. Because a pet peeve, I mean, when you think about it, you're like, oh man, when that guy, when he does this certain thing, it really gets on my nerves. Or, oh man, that guy really just gets under my skin. Well, you're exactly saying who it's affecting, and it's you. It's getting under your skin. That other guy, he's just being himself, so he might not even know what is ailing you, or what is so bad about him that is making you get this negative thinking. So you got to really think about it, and it's like, you know what, that's what makes this world unique. That's what makes people so diverse. And it's because too, people don't live the same life you live. They have different realities, they have different experiences, so they understand things on a different way. And you can't hold malice for someone's ignorance, because then it just creates more ignorance. Because creating malice for ignorance is basically repeating the pattern. So you must learn to be compassionate. Try and reach out to the guy. Give him some words of encouragement. Maybe that's all they need, is some words of encouragement. Not everybody always constantly pointing out their flaws. You'd be surprised what a little bit of encouragement can change somebody's whole day. And it's a beautiful thing. And acts of kindness, like, it's something that we need to glorify more, instead of glorifying all the bad murders and bad this and people robbing that. You know what I mean? We need to really start putting news on some more acts of kindness. Maybe like information, like some of the stuff that I talk about, which is about like the energy and the spiritual and stuff like that. They start putting some of this stuff on the news, and so that way people learn and it catches their attention, because it's something that is deep within you that Jesus understood and God understands. And it's like right in ourselves, there's all this information. There's the connection to the divine, which is God. There's the connection to nature, which nature is alive. Nature is an energy. She's just like our body. She has a positive and a negative, north and south. You know, this earth is really alive, and it does what it has to do to keep it functioning. And because it always has these poles, and it always keeps the energies fluctuating in the right place, that's how it continues to be our world. But we've been taking on too much of this negativity. Our consciousness, our thinking, these limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves and about others really does not help the world at all. So the world has an immune system just like you do, and it's going to fight off these negative things. And so that's why it's like sometimes the negative has to come up in order to deal with it, to fix it. It's coming up to your attention for a reason. Don't just blow it off, or don't let it just make you angry and just dive into the anger, and you know it's going to perpetuate more negativity and more resentment, and it's just going to eat you alive. So it's trying to tell you that there's something in you that needs to change, or there's some belief that needs to change. You have to rewire something. And that's why God understood that there's a lot of people with negativity, a lot of people with self-doubt, a lot of people with self-esteem issues. And when you develop yourself, those things are not an issue, because they really shouldn't be. Those are just social aspects and negative belief patterns that we create that actually hinders us more than helps us. And so I just want you today to say that you're going to do some self-developmental work on yourself, because that is what God's calling everyone to do. And it's actually an awakening that is going on all around the world. God's bringing his kingdom to the way it's supposed to be, the way the earth should be, as in heaven, so on earth, as above, so below, as within, so without. So if your inner world is in turmoil, your outer world is going to reflect turmoil. So we need to fix our inner world, fix our psyche, fix our hearts, fix our emotions, learn how to really deal with them, learn how to develop our skills, and even use your weaknesses to learn to develop disciplines that you might need to help you with those weaknesses, and learn your gifts so that way you can develop those gifts and you can do what you were really meant to do. And with that, I just want to say I love you guys. Y'all are all beautiful souls, and I just want to say I see the full potential in each and every one of you, and Jesus also understood the same, and that's why he didn't care who you were, whether you're a sinner or not. And it's actually sinners who need most of this developmental work. And it's not to say that you are less than, or you know what I mean, it's just I've been lost, so I could understand anybody else being lost. And with that, I just want to say God bless you. Thank you, Jesus, for doing what you did and working with God to make a difference in this world. And he's one of the key things to help make the change in this world. And you too, because he can't do his work without you. So I want to tell you I love you. You're awesome. You are a beautiful soul and a beautiful person, and I just want to bring us all together to really understand that this system that we created really needs some work, and it can be fixed, and it will be fixed. And all we need to do is come to a place of equality, a place of understanding, not better than you or less than you or whatever, but an equal ground, so that we all want the same thing. We all want to just be at peace. So with that, I want to say God bless you all, and I love you. Have a good night.